And one thing again he did, which I feel that he didn't actually achieve. He will tell you, go to court and sit down in court, listen to cases. So we got interested in listening to cases, see them argue things out. But none of us went into law.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the 360 Live Show. My name is Jesu Bori and I'm so glad to have you here today. Today, as you can see, we're in a special environment, so it's a special episode. We have a very special guest, we have a special co-host too, even though she just fixed herself inside one way or the other. But we're happy to have her here. I will start by introducing the lady on my my left. She's my elder sister. You must have seen her from the last episode of the 360 Live Show. If you have not watched it, you can go back to watch it after this episode. So she's my elder sister. Her name is Christy Sojabi. And on my right is a man that, how would we introduce our special guest? So is a father, is 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 our senior friend. I can't just say he's our senior friend, and he's always there anytime you need any help. He's very humble. He's no other person but the Vice Chancellor of Bells, one of the best private schools in Nigeria, the Vice Chancellor of Bells University, the person of Professor J.O. Ojediran.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for having me on this show.
Much,
thank you.
It's a privilege having you here with us, sir. So this is a segment on this show where we look into people's stories, and we know that a lot of people have learned so many lessons, especially people who have achieved many things in their lives. For example, he's a vice chancellor and a professor, so definitely he has achieved a lot. He has gone through, he has overcome many strides and learned so many lessons. He has gathered a whole lot of experience, and that is what we want to gather to ourselves today. We want to ask many questions concerning that. So this is the segment of 360 Live Show where we ask about people's stories and we learn a lot. So from his story, we are going to focus, because of course you know that he has lived a long life. So we are going to break the questions into about 4 or 5 parts. We'll ask about his background, we'll ask about his family, his spiritual life, his life in Bells University. Why Bells? Some of you may be thinking, Bells, I've never heard of it before. You must hear of it now, because if you have not heard of Bells, don't worry. Okay, then we'll talk about academics generally and his advice to the younger generation concerning academics and life in general. So I'm going to start with the questions. So thank you so much again, sir. So, sir, can you please take us through your background? I want to know what shaped you, what shaped your mind, what shaped your upbringing that made you. Did you ever think you would become a professor? And do you think your upbringing shaped you into becoming a professor and a vice chancellor?
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me this evening. Thank you, Jesu Bori and T. Christy. Thank you for coming in. And I'm Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran. Born some 70 years ago, and I've had the opportunity of moving around. I schooled in Jos. I was born in Jos, Plateau State. My primary school, primary 1 to 7, is in Baptist Day School, Jos. Secondary school, from 1 to 5, Baptist High School, Jos. I had the opportunity of attending Federal Government College, Sokoto, for the higher school certificate, which you call advanced level now, or IGMB. Ours was higher school certificate, HSC, Sokoto for 2 years, after which I moved on to University of Ibadan, the premier university in Nigeria, in 1975, and I graduated 1979, the BSc in Agricultural Engineering. I served in the then Bendel State, 79-80, after which I moved to the Polytechnic. It's bearing several names now. It was College of Technology, then to Polytechnic of Sokoto State, now to Waziri Umaru Federal Polytechnic, Sokoto State. I was there 1980 to 1992. That's been my journey. Then from there to Lautech, 92 to 2016, or rather 2025, depending on how you look at it. I left Lautech 2012 for sabbatical in Ghana. And then from there I came back, went to Landmark University for accumulated leave, 2 years. And from there I was invited to Adeleke University to establish the engineering faculty. That was 2014 to 2016. Got to Bells 2016, and I've been Bells 2016 to date. That's been my journey sort of till date. Now, my background. While in Jos, in my family we are 18. I'm number 7. And incidentally, I am the fourth son. And there were 2 other after me later, but between me and those 2, there were 10 years. So I was the 4th boy, the 7th child, and became Papa's boy. So I was always like chewing gum to him, always gumming to him. So I picked a lot of things from him. My father was very straightforward, and he virtually questions everything. If you need anything from him, you'll have to ask. And as children, we nicknamed him. Well, he didn't know about that. We call him Boy the Law. So while together we tell, you want to go to Papa for something, he will come to you and say, I want to go and see Boy the Law. So you better prepare. So deep down, we are taught to think things through before hearing them, or before uttering them. So our background is such that you must be deep. So when you go to Papa for something, say, well, you want to buy a shirt or something, he will ask you why. He say, well, if you say it's because Agiri bought the same shirt, then you don't need a shirt. But if you tell him that, okay, my shirt, which I'm using for 3 years or 2 years, I need another one so that I can complement this, or we have an outing, all boys will be there, I need a very fine shirt, and then, say, I think you do. He will give you that. You must give strong reason, you must justify whatever you need to get anything from him. So I come from a background where that sounds academic, isn't it? So you are taught to think through. And my dad was someone who loved education. He didn't go to school, but he loved education. So all of us, and he used to tell us then that that's the legacy will live for you. In Yoruba, mi ò ní kankan fílẹ̀ fọmọ kankan o. Tẹ́ bá ti lọ school, ẹ kàwé. That's where he puts it. That is, I have nothing to live for you. You must read, study well, and move. So all of us actually went to school. In fact, one time in primary school, he had children in every class. The 7 classes from primary 1 to primary 7. So he loved education. And he would tell us that, well, you must study. We were fortunate also, he was a bit well to do for his own time. We don't do much home chores at home. Just you go and read your book. So you don't have any excuse to fail. So he brought us up to be interested in books. So, well, your clothes, you don't have to wash your uniform. For instance, I had 5 uniforms. So it's one per day. Or you just wear one. When you come back in the evening, drop it in the basket. The next day, pick another one. And usually at the end of the year, there is this end of year these ceremonies in school that in those days when you're given prizes, awards, and so on. My dad will close his shop and attend with all his children. Now what he does is he will take a whole row, he will sit down, and then you flank him both left and right. Now when it gets to time of giving prizes, the first prize, you must get either first, second, or third. So there's a competition. So it's there. And there's one prize that you cannot afford not to get. Neatness. In those days, they give prizes for neatness in each class. And honestly, from primary 1 to 7, it's always Ojediran. So you must be neat. Because your uniform is being washed by someone.
Yes.
And you are just to wear it. So you must wear it well. I'm sure you mean. So apart from this prize, we always often will get prizes of first, second, and third, or the best in your class, or the best in the school. So you are encouraged at home to study hard. So study hard so that you know you will be first, second, or third. Now, if you are not in the first 3, your mother is in trouble. See, this one is like his mother is not. So he taught us to be mentally sharp. So that's the background we come from. And one thing he does again is he has a shop. So during all this, we sit with him there. And every day we buy newspapers, 3 or 4, and then we'll spread it. He'll give it to you in English. This English, New Nigeria, Daily Times, and these other newspapers. And you read. And after reading, he will ask you, what did you read? What's the news today? So you must give him the news. He taught us to be interested in reading. And one thing again he did, which I feel that he didn't actually achieve. He will tell you, go to court and sit down in court. Listen to cases. So we got interested in listening to cases, see them argue things out. But none of us went into law. So our background is virtually academic. He was quite interested in that and ensured that all his children were tuned to that. So that's the background we come from. You must be sort of academic. Well, spiritually, he was a polygamist. And he didn't see anything wrong with that, but he will tell you, none of you must marry a second wife. He was a polygamist, but he warned us not to do that. And he ensures that we go to church. In fact, on Sunday, you cannot miss it. Then you must attend Sunbeam. As boys, we must attend RA. The girls must go to GA. So you must attend these things. Again, as boys, he made sure we were members of Boy Scout and Boys Brigade. So if you are not in Boy Scout, you are Boys Brigade. And we ensure that gets you the uniform. So we are sort of given the broad-based upbringing so that you can pick. The girls have their own, and the boys have their own. The boys eat together, the girls eat together. That's what we do at home. So whether you have the same mother or not from the same mother, you eat from the same plate. So the background is such that God teaches you to be humble, teaches you to be God-fearing, teaches you to be academically inclined. And then we were supposed to be among the first 3 in our class. You must be among the first 3 or first 5. Now there was an occasion I came ninth in class, and I refused to go home. So when the school closed, I just sat down in school. I didn't go home. But that was a punishment. So they had to come and pick me from school. But that was failure in my house. If you had ninth position, no, you are failed. Every other person is between 1 and 3, and you are ninth. So that's the way we were brought up to. Yeah, that's the background. I
Thank
hope
you
I didn't
so
go
much.
too far.
No. I think that was very apt and you elaborated the answer. So I think you can't leave training to chance. It has to be, nothing just happens. To form children, you have to be very intentional with their training. So that was what I learned. So over to you.
Wow, that was like she said, quite elaborate, but very interesting. To think that your father, who was not educated, actually had a lot of, especially in your day, having, you know, children have help in the house, as in not doing home chores. I'm very curious about that. I'm going to ask a question on that. My own question is going to be about families. I have two questions about that stuff. The first one is that I heard that one time the one said it's lonely at the top. It's a popular saying. It's lonely at the top, and I'm very big on family. To be honest, I think that it's very important to um, have a I feel like it gives you some stability if you have a good family, lifestyle. Now, I want to ask you, seeing that you're well accomplished in terms of, your career, academics, all those things take a lot of time. How are you able to balance having a good family life, with your spouse, your children, and then also achieving well academically? And if you have any advice to give to us, those of us that are growing and still choosing.
Let me correct something quickly. Not doing home chores. What I mean is that it's not what should take a lot of your time. The boys do minor. What I mean minor, I ask you to sweep, right? The girls, they join their mothers in a few cooking and washing plates, but he insists on that not taking too much of your time. It should not be part of your home lesson time. It should not be part of your time you do assignments. That's top priority in our home, in our house. Then, when it comes to things, reading and doing assignments, um, studying. If you are studying, your mother, they are not disturb you. That's what I mean. Then they do their cooking. On weekends, we do some little washing, but not much. Not the way I see it in other families. In other families, you wake up in the morning, 5 a.m., you must go around, you must do the washing, you must sweep and all during the morning when you wake up is take your bath or do rub and shine like we do. Wear a uniform and off you go to school. So that's important. Now, to your question, how do we balance home and I'm married, and obviously you know that, and I'm married to a non-Yoruba, so that's them put them from that background. She's from Bayelsa, I'm from Oyo, so there's these cultural differences in there. So you must know that. But I lived in the north, almost larger part of my life. So my idea about this sectionalism also isn't part of me. So where you come from does not matter to me. Whether you're Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo. So I'm married to somebody from Bayelsa, and we blend very well. Very well and very well. She understands me, I understand. And I say in marriage, understanding is key. Where she's strong, I'm weak. Where I'm weak, she's strong. Maybe I'll mention that at some other time. And we got married in 1981. It's called 8081 because there was traditional wedding separately. There was court wedding separately. So there are 81, there's 82, So we had to computerize that. We come from different background, and so things must be properly stated. You don't. So that's the thing. And she's a nurse. I'm an engineer, and she. When I was growing up, if you take time to read some of the testimony or the tributes within here, one of my brothers mentioned. He said I was very fragile. When I was growing, I was very fragile. If I thought I was not going to survive. And along the line, sometimes somebody met my wife years later, and I said, "Oh, you're who is it? I'm Mrs. Ojediran." I said, "Which Ojediran?" I said, "One in Jos." I said, "I know all of them. Which of them?" And he said, "Jeremiah." I said, "Is he still alive?" That was 1986. And he said, "Yes, alive now." I was in France then. That's to show how fragile I was. I grew up that way. So the marriage aspect of it was that we came together, we met, and I did how do you call it that time? Sweet talk.
Okay.
I did the wooing. I did the sweet talking. We got together. She was in school of nursing then. I just finished from university, and we met. So we became close, and we got married after youth service. We got married. We had in total, call it 3, but one survived. The one, and that's Toyin. She's there now. She's already married, and we have a grandchild through her. So we complement each other mentally and physically. Let me give one thing that happened during our courtship. Well, during our courtship, I enjoyed reading. I read a lot of novels. She didn't like reading at all. So whenever she visited, I was busy reading. So and she wants to gist. So I virtually conscripted her into the reading habit by giving her just one book, Beyond Pardon. That's more feminine. And she said, "You to read this one." And that's why she caught up and overtook me in reading. So gradually we blended very well. Like I said, in understanding, knowing my likes, my dislikes. Again, our meeting together taught me some lessons. I was very impatient while growing up. Very, 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 very impatient. She's very patient. She would rather not talk than get angry. Me, I'm the type that wants to get things done and done properly and done immediately. So she taught me a lot of patience. She's very prudent in terms of finances. I like to spend. She's more prudent. I keep books. She doesn't know how to keep books. Certificates and things like that. No. I'll collect and keep. So like I said, we complement each other. So when it comes to things like for cooking and this thing, I give it to her. One example I would like to give is my elder brother.